Alright, so today I'm back again with episode Nagi. But today, ladies and gentlemen, we will go over the 12th chapter, where the story is really starting to heat up. Anyway, I'm not going to hold you here for any longer, as I know that you guys want to get right into the chapter, so just be sure that you leave a like, a comment, and of course, subscribe to the channel. And while you are at it, you could always join the Discord server down in the comments. But with all of that out of the way, let's finally get into it. 10 days later, all the members of Team 5 are practicing hard, while Nagi watches them, enjoying his drink. Zantetsu is completely worn out, and asks Ryo how long they have to keep up this intense training. Ryo replies that Ego said they have to do it until the next selection round, so they've just got to keep at it. As both of them sit down, Zantetsu mentions that, according to him, something seems different. He's noticing that the one for whom everything is usually a pain is now practicing more seriously. After the exercise, they go to their room to enjoy their sleep when, after a little bit of time, the ring bell sounds. An announcement states that at this time, all the Blue Lock's first selection rounds have been completed for all wings, and all players who cleared the first round should now put on their training suits and proceed to the underground central area from their respective wings. When they reach the area for the second selection round, everyone looks shocked, and Nagi glances at Yoichi Isagi. However, Ryo thinks that everyone here is from the letters V to Z. Ego appears on a screen, waving at them and calling them lumps of talent, congratulating them for their physical training. He mentions that here, 125 players from all 5 wings have gathered, and all 125 of them cleared the first selection round. Ego notes that he's sure the clever ones among them have already realized that only 5 wings exist in Blue Lock. By making them think they were in teams 5 to Z, he tricked them into thinking they were at the bottom, so they fought like madmen in the first selection round. All the members are angry and fired up, demanding to know why he lied to them. Ego smirks, saying he wants to kill half of their confidence to create the hunger needed to become the best in the world. He then tells them to prepare themselves for the second selection round and to enter the gate one at a time, wishing them good luck. Nagi wonders if they're going in alone, while Ryo smirks, thinking that this Jinpachi Ego guy is clever, so what could they expect from him? Suddenly, a guy steps out from between them and starts kicking the football, showing excellent technique. Nagi and Ryo are shocked, and Nagi thinks he's amazing and wonders who this guy is. The guy speaks up, mentioning that he's done his stretching, then goes inside the room. Ryo looks at him, stunned, remarking that there are still some badasses left in Blue Lock. Zantetsu urges them to go in, and Nagi announces that he'll go first. Ryo tells Nagi that he'll be there by himself, so he shouldn't slack off. Nagi enters, mentioning that he will be fine as he's fired up right now. In the monitoring room, Henri looks at the guy with shock, noting that he is the AI hologram goalkeeper. Blue Lock Man further explains that they have to score 100 goals within 90 minutes against such a strong opponent, and that's just the first stage. Plus, the system adjusts the quality and challenge of each ball based on the individual, creating training that can draw out a player's unique style and weapons. A solitary environmental test to turn their individual abilities into turning 0 into 1. According to her, Nagi's stance towards soccer has changed. Ego looks at her, agreeing, as he notes that things are getting interesting, and it seems the prodigy has awakened his ego. Nagi easily finishes his 100-goal task, mentioning that it was a piece of cake for him, and his first stage is now clear. He exits the gate to the next stage, looking at the 3-man teams advancing. Ryo also passes the stage, smiling at Nagi, noting that it looks like he cleared it too, and that he's proud of him, asking who else they should pick for their team. Nagi ignores Ryo, saying he thinks there's somebody he wants to wait for. Ryo agrees with him, asking if he's talking about Zantetsu. Nagi considers that if he tells him about the guy, Ryo might get mad, so he decides to introduce him when he arrives. Suddenly, as Isagi enters the room, Ryo and Nagi both look at him. Isagi is chatting happily with Bachira. Nagi observes them, thinking they seem close, so Isagi must be someone indispensable to Bachira, and maybe they are like him and Ryo. Nagi approaches Isagi, asking if he wants to team up with them. Isagi looks at him in shock as Nagi asks him to join their team. Ryo questions Nagi, asking if this is the person he was waiting for. Nagi replies that Isagi is the most amazing guy in that match, so he wants to try playing soccer with him. Bachira asks Isagi if he's going to join them. Isagi responds that of course not. He's teaming up with Bachira and apologizes to Nagi, explaining he can't join him by himself. Ryo asks Nagi if he heard Isagi's response. Nagi thinks that he will be selfish, but announces he will join their team. The 3 of them look shocked, as Nagi further asks Isagi if he's fine with that. Ryo looks at Nagi in disbelief, asking what he's talking about, as they were supposed to team up. So what about him? Nagi explains that Ryo taught him about soccer, and that both of them are going to be the best in the world, and that's a fact. But if they lost, then they were not the strongest. Nagi wonder if he enjoys being with Ryo because it's not a pain, it's comfortable and fun. But the dream Ryo showed him about becoming the world's best, it ended in that moment. So he's not fine with things as they are, and that's what he tells Ryo. Nagi then expresses that to understand this new feeling called frustration. He wants to play soccer with Isagi, thinking that to dream again about being the best, he wants to change. So he tells Ryo that he wants to try making an effort. Ryo, looking frustrated, tells him to do whatever he wants. Bachira asks Isagi what he thinks, but Isagi remains stunned. He looks into Isagi's eyes, hoping that Isagi chooses him, and in the end, the three of them make the group. The system asks the three of them to advance to the next stage. Before entering, Nagi stares at Ryo, mentioning that he will be waiting for him, his gaze intense and determined. Bachira is so excited to play with Nagi, telling him that Ryo actually looks sad and wonders aloud if Nagi is actually the super cold type, someone who hides his emotions. Nagi glances at him, mentioning that he would be lying if he said he didn't feel bad about it, but he knows that he can see Ryo again at some point. He tells them that playing alongside them is more exciting than he thought, and asks if Blue Lock is really that kind of place, where excitement builds through challenge. He tries to calm himself, acknowledging that right now he and Ryo are not yet good enough and must change to get stronger. Isagi watches him, encouraging him to go for it, and Nagi agrees. Bachira smirks, playfully calling them the ultimate team. When they reach the third stage meeting room, the screen activates, and Ego appears, welcoming them. Ego explains that it's time for some 3-on-3 team battles for this third stage. The 3-man teams they've formed will have a mini-game battle with Blue Lock men serving as the goalie for both teams, and the first team to score 5 points will win. The winning team will select a player from the losing team, steal that player, and form a 4-man team. With each stage advancement, they add a new member. Once they create a 5-man team and advance to the 5th stage, they will have cleared the second selection round. Bachira is amazed, starting to say it looks like something, and Nagi completes his thought by saying it resembles Red Rover. Ego continues, explaining that if a team loses at any point, they return to the previous stage with their remaining members. Finally, when a team loses a 2-on-2 match, the unchosen player who ends up alone will be forced to leave. He adds that in this second selection round, they will steal rivals, making it a true rivalry battle. Nagi realizes that the rules mean he might encounter Ryo mid-battle. Ego tells them all that they have the ability to turn 0 into 1 on the field, and smashing those ones together will elevate them. Whoever can control the chemical reaction of competing egos will be the strikers who seize the ticket to the next stage. To win, they must use any means necessary. Bachira remarks that it's another harsh rule. Nagi clarifies that they simply need to gather 5 players to win. Bachira agrees, saying there's no rush to pick an opponent, and asks Isagi what he thinks. Nagi glances at the other team, where Rin tells his members it doesn't matter who they play with, as they are only here with him to fill the place. He declares that they should win, and earn the chance to represent Japan in the U20 League. Rin reveals his purpose is to surpass his brother. Soccer's meaning to him is to crush Sai Itoshi. Bachira observes that Rin is the little brother of that prodigy midfielder, and remarks that he looks like a true egoist. Isagi apologizes to Bachira and Nagi. Nagi asks him what's wrong, and he replies that it doesn't matter who they play, right? He then calls out to Rin, challenging him to a battle, fully committing to face Rin. Nagi mentions that he has the same idea as him, thinking that he will experience the monster known as Rin Itoshi. Nagi thinks that he never thought he would get to play soccer on the same team as Isagi, hoping to become one of the top 3. As the announcement happens and the game starts, both teams jump onto the field, kicking off the ball. In the matching room, Ryo sits silently on the side, thinking that he has lived his life always getting the things he wants, so he is sure that Nagi, the prodigy, is the first treasure he hasn't been able to make his own. He grinds his teeth in anger, further thinking that if he hadn't come to Blue Lock, maybe he wouldn't have had to know this feeling. He tells Nagi in his mind that the truth is he realized something back in their previous match, seeing Nagi entranced by and heated up about soccer. When he lost to Isagi, Nagi became aware of his own talent and learned about frustration, so seeing Nagi like that made him so happy. But he thinks he wasn't the one who changed him, as he felt that if he accepted that, he could not stay by his side. So he tried to pretend he wasn't moved and put a lid on his own feelings. But even so, Nagi didn't stop. While remembering the scene when Nagi told him that he wanted to play soccer with Isagi, his eyes shone like a child's as he tried to change and move forward. Ryo just could not bring himself to say, "Okay, Nagi, go ahead, let's meet again beyond our dreams," with a smile on his face. Ryo bangs his head, thinking that he feels if he had said that, Nagi would never have come back to him. He felt like their dream was going to disappear completely, and he was so scared that he would be lonely, realizing he was so weak. He doesn't want to know that people changing can be this cruel. His eyes start dropping tears as he grinds his teeth in sadness. On the other side, as Team White now has 2 goals, Nagi looks at RIN, thinking that he is seriously overpowered. Isagi shouts at Nagi and Bachira to stop RIN from making the goal. Nagi dashes after RIN, challenging him to bring it, calling him a cheat code monster. RIN, however, tells him that he already mentioned this game is over, calling them mediocre amateurs. Now, as both of them face off, RIN suddenly slides to leave Nagi behind. Nagi watches his dribbling, kicking, and soccer IQ, marveling at his sheer skill, thinking that RIN excels in every parameter, even as though he's at 100% or 200%. Nagi acknowledges that he is a prodigy, yet RIN doesn't even seem to covet it. He's supernatural. Nagi mutters in disbelief that RIN isn't even human. In the end, RIN succeeds in scoring the last goal for his team, winning the game. Nagi is left in utter shock as they lose. RIN's teammates ask him who they should steal, and RIN replies nonchalantly that it doesn't matter. All of them are the same. Nagi stands there in complete shock, struggling to grasp that he teamed up with Isagi, yet they still lost. In the end, Team Red decides to take Bachira, asking him to join them. Bachira stares at them in disbelief, frozen in shock. RIN notices and snaps at him, telling him not to space out and calling him bowl cut, reminding him that his fate is in his hands. Bachira's face falls, and with a heavy heart, he tells Isagi that he wanted to stick with him till the end. As he says this, Nagi remembers the promise Ryo made to stay with him till the end. Isagi calls out Bachira's name, his voice filled with desperation, but Bachira sadly tells him that he's leaving because it's the rule. He further adds with a bittersweet smile that he won't wait for Isagi. If Isagi truly wants him back, then he should steal him. Nagi finds himself wanting to tell Ryo that there's someone even more incredible than him and Isagi here, that the stakes are high, and it's all over if they lose again. Yet Nagi can't quite put this feeling into words, and even so, he wonders, why is he having so much fun right now? He doesn't want to leave yet. He wants to keep playing, to keep winning, to get stronger. He realizes that he never would have discovered this side of himself if he hadn't come to Blue Lock. He clenches his fist, overwhelmed by emotion, thinking he wouldn't have gained this if he hadn't met Ryo. In his mind, he tells Ryo that if they meet again, there are so many things he wants to say. He never thought that changing could be so thrilling. On the other hand, Isagi is freaking out with anger due to his loss, as he is not ready to accept it. Anyway, if you like Blue Lock and videos like this, then I would highly suggest you subscribe to this channel, and while you are at it, leave a comment and a like, as it helps out with the algorithm a ton. And if you are curious to see another video of mine, then please watch the video that will be popping up on the screen now. Anyway, thanks for watching, and have a great day. Bye.